Hare, Hare Krishna. So, welcome you all to the Sunday Bhagavad Gita classes. So, we are in the chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, and we saw that in the beginning of the chapter 2, Arjuna was very much in a confused state. He wasn't sure whether to fight or not to fight, mainly because of the four reasons. One is out of compassion, another is loss of enjoyment, and fear of sinful activities, and destruction of family traditions. And apart from that, in the second chapter, we also saw that Arjuna became very, very indecisive. It happens even for us when we are too much, I mean, our mind is quite disturbed, we also become indecisive. We do not know how to take a decision. In a very, very agitated mind, we cannot take a decision. So, whenever we are taking any important decisions in the life, so we should always try to settle down our mind. In an agitated mind, we cannot do. But it is not very easy for us to settle our mind also. So, whom does Arjuna approach? He approaches Krishna and he accepts him as a spiritual master. A spiritual master is the one who can give us the solution for all our problems. And Arjuna was intelligent enough to take shelter of the spiritual master. So far, the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna was as a friend, but to have the gravity to as a relation between the guru and shishya is very grave, so it's taken very seriously. Therefore, Arjuna is accepting Krishna as a spiritual master, and we see that Krishna also started speaking with a very serious tone, with a very grave tone. So the very first instruction Krishna is giving to Arjuna is, we are not the body, we are the spirit soul. And he is also saying, because whatever the reason Arjuna put forward, it looks like he is a very learned person. His arguments are very valid. Yes, in terms of morality, all these values are considered to be very great. But Krishna says that, Nanu sochanti pandita. You are talking like a learned person. Actually speaking, you are a fool because you are lamenting for something that is not worth for, because Krishna is giving the knowledge of the body and the soul. And Krishna said that this body is temporary, ashashvat, whereas the soul is permanent. And he gave a beautiful example of Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tata dehantara prapti dhiras tatrana muhyati. Within this lifetime, we see that our body is changing. We are not having the same body throughout our lifetime. So, similarly, at the time of death, the soul leaves one body and takes up another body. So, death is nothing but the change of the dress. It's just a change of your position. Whereas we will always remain as a spirit soul, there is nothing called death. Krishna is eternal and we are also eternal. Krishna says, Mamaivamshu Jivaloke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We are all eternally the part and parcel of Krishna. So, either we will be in the material world or we will be in the spiritual world. So, when we go to the spiritual world, we will remain as an individual, as an eternal soul. But there is one advantage, one bigger advantage when we go to the spiritual world. What is that? In the spiritual world, there is no birth, there is no death, there is no old age, there is no disease, and there is no threefold miseries: Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik, and Adi Devik. Miseries due to our own mind, miseries due to the other living entity, and miseries due to the natural calamities. So these seven miseries are absent in the spiritual world. So imagine our life without these seven problems. How will it be? Is there anything to lament for? You'll be always happy if your mind is always cooperating with you and no living entity is causing you any trouble. And the weather is a first class weather, very suitable for your living, with the right temperature, with the right rainfall, and with the right environment. So, how will you feel? We'll feel very happy, we'll feel very ananda. But we don't have all those things. But Krishna has given us the process of devotional service. By doing so, even living within this world, one can attain that state. And he also gave an example of the garment. When the garment becomes old, what do? We throw away the garment and we buy a new garment. So similarly, when the body becomes invalid or useless, so the soul gives up that body and takes up another body so that the soul can have a proper home, like our own house. If it is too much damaged, what do? We go for renovation. We cannot continue to live in the same house. If you're getting so many issues in your home, your bricks are not very strong, your plumbing is not very strong, everything. If you're getting a lot of problem in the home, what do? You renovate or you go to another house, but you cannot continue to live like that. So these are the knowledge of the soul which Krishna is giving to Arjuna. So that is part 2, where Krishna is giving the knowledge of the soul, which is also called as Sankhya Yoga. Why Sankhya Yoga? Because Krishna is giving an analytical study of the body and the soul. What is body and what is the soul? So Krishna is very clearly giving the discrimination between the body and the soul. And then Krishna is taking towards the dharma. So as a human beings, we have two types of dharma. One is swadharma, another is parodharma. Swadharma means a dharma due to our own bodily position, constitutions. So according to our varna and ashrama, we have to do some particular activity. So here, Arjuna being a Kshatriya, his duty was to fight. So by doing your duty according to your Varna and Ashrama, Krishna says that one will not occur any sinful activity. Just performing your duty according to a prescribed duty, you will not attract any sinful activity. And Krishna is also talking because every human being, the very reason we are coming to this material world again and again is because we have material desires. We wanted to be the enjoyers. Therefore, we are born again and again. And people also follow karma kanda rituals so that we get something out of it. Or people do the sakama karma. Sakama karma means doing activity but with some expectation. We may do some activity, we may be a devotee of Krishna, we know that without Krishna's sanction, nothing will happen. But what do we have? We have some expectation. We are looking for some fruits of that result. That is sakama karma. But generally, people first come into the category of karma kanda and slowly they go to the sakama karma. So Krishna is saying to Arjuna that in this battle, even if you win, or you lose, both are a gaining situation to you. Why? Because if you win the battle, you will be enjoying the earthly kingdom. And if you lose the battle, you will be enjoying in the heavenly planets. So, as we saw, going to heavenly planets is also not very easy. One should have not spoken lies for hundreds of lifetimes. One should have done a lot of pious activities. So, if one is getting an entrance to heavenly planet where the more facility for enjoyment is there, so Arjuna should take it. And gradually Krishna is transcending Arjuna from this sakama karma to nishkama karma. Just do your duty, don't expect any result, whether it is happiness or distress, whether it is victory or defeat, whether you gain or you lose. Do your duty just for the sake of doing duty without expecting any result out of it. And that is how Krishna is introducing the Buddhi Yoga to Arjuna. Buddhi Yoga means the yoga out of intelligence, or it's also called as Bhakti Yoga or Nishkama Karma, doing activities only for the pleasure of Krishna, not having anything in any motivation in that. Okay, I am chanting so that Krishna is happy. Krishna will be very glad to hear the names coming out of my tongue. So I am doing a nice boga so that Krishna can eat very nicely. So everything that we do for the pleasure of Krishna is Nishkama Karma or Bhakti Yoga or Buddhi Yoga, where we do not expect any fruits of that activity. And this sloka number 40 is a very beautiful sloka which Krishna says, Neha Vikrama Nasosti Pratyavayo na vidyate Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayato mahato bhayat. So, in this activity, when we are in the process of yoga, yoga means trying to connect ourselves with Krishna. It's connecting ourselves with supreme consciousness. That is the yoga. So, there is swalpamapyasya dharmasya. Even you do a very, 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 very small dharma, what does it do? Trayate mahato bhayat. It will take us from the most dangerous situation, namely death, and going to the lower species of life. At least one will get a human form of life where we are getting an opportunity to further in Krishna consciousness. Can we have a dog or a cat? Can we make them sit and can we preach them Krishna consciousness? Will they have the intelligence to hear? They know. But as a human beings, we know that we are suffering. We know that everything is temporary in the world. Therefore, we should inquire, is there any place where I can have a permanent happiness? Everything that I do is temporary. How can I be happy permanently? That a human being should think. And then the following sloka, Krishna says, Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekega kurunandana. Vyavasayatmika buddhi. A person who is intelligent, Vyavasayatmika, like a businessman, he always thinks only about his business. He will not think anything other than that. Day and night, he will think, how will I increase my business? What more I can do? How can I earn more money? And even a farmer, his complete focus is only on the farm. How is my crop growing? Am I giving enough water? Is there enough sunlight? Is my crops growing in a proper situation? So his mind is completely fixed on it. So, Ekega Kurunandana, an intelligent person, will remain focused. Avyavasayatmika. But a person who is not intelligent, bahushaka he anantasya. He becomes multi-branched. He thinks this, he thinks that, he thinks that. So he becomes very, very distracted. Like even if else there is a sports person, a one sports person can only do well in one particular activity, can be an athlete or can be a gymnastic or can be a footballer or can be a cricketer, whatever it is, only one thing one can do very well. If a person thinks, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that, is it possible? Not possible. Even our own education system, the higher you go, it becomes more and more focused, then you gain a depth in the knowledge. In the school days till 10th, you're exposed to all the subjects. 11th and 12th, you choose your branch. And in the college, you further narrow it down. And when you do masters, you're further narrowing it down. And when you're doing PhD, you're further narrowing it down. Because to get an in-depth knowledge, we have to be focused. So, by becoming Krishna conscious, by having the unflinching faith in Krishna, what can do? One can advance in devotion. Unflinching faith means what? What is meant by unflinching faith? When you use the word unflinching, what does it mean? Something very sublime. When one is engaged in the duties of Krishna consciousness, he does not act in relationship to the material world with obligation to family, traditions, humanity, or nationality. Prabhupada has given in the purport of the sloka number 41. We should know that only by serving Krishna, the entire humanity is benefited, my forefathers is benefited, my family is benefited, rather than thinking, okay, I am Krishna conscious. At the same time, I also have to do something for my forefathers. I also have to do something for the nation. I also have to do something for the humanity. If I am not doing, then who will take care? That means we do not have a complete faith in Krishna. So when we serve Krishna, when we are watering the roots, the entire plant gets nourished. Do we have to separately water the leaves, water the fruits, water the twigs, water the branches? No. So yasmin tushte jagat tushto. So when Krishna is satisfied, the entire world is satisfied. So just by satisfying Krishna, we should have the faith that the entire world is satisfied. Rather, when you're taking the form, like I am the one who is protecting my nation, my community, that means we are taking the Ishvara Bhav. When Krishna says, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, who is the Maheshwara of all the three worlds? It's only Krishna. But if we are trying to be the masters in this world, that means whose position are we trying to take? Are we not trying to imitate Krishna? Is that our ahankar? It's our false ego thinking that, we are the one we are protecting. Like sometimes we as a mothers, we think if we are not there, the family cannot run. Even that is also a kind of an Ishwarabha. We think that we are the one who is giving protection to the family. If we are not there, nothing can happen. No, Krishna is the only protector. Raksha is Yasi Vishwaso and Sugrutam Sarva Bhutanam, and he is a well-wisher of all the entity. And in the following sloka, Krishna is talking about a person who is irresolute, who is not very intelligent. He saw that Bahushaka and he is further elaborating. What does he do? Yamimam Pushpitam Bacham Prabadhyanta Vipakshita Vedavada Ratha Partha Nanyan Tastiti Vadina Kamatmana Swargapara Janma Karma Falapradam Kriya Vishesha Bahulam Bhogeshwarya Gatim Prati. So, men of small intelligence are very much attached to the flowery words of Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, result good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than that. So, Vedas are basically helping us, the Karma Kanda portions, to fulfill our desires, but in a dharmic way. And they say that, Vedas are stating that you do this yajna, you will get this opulence. There are yajnas when you do, you can become a prime minister, you can become a leader. There are yajnas you do, you may get some promotion. There are yajnas you do, you may get the people who do not have children, they may get child. So there are so many yajnas the Vedas are prescribing. But which kind of people do that according to Krishna? Men of small intelligence, because when your intelligence is not sharp, you cannot think well, because everything in this material world is temporary. Steve Jobs, he was a very great leader. Each and every classes or any talk that he used before the product launch, he used to at least prepare 20 times or 30 times. He used to revise and he used to do everything. But he also has to leave this world one day. He said those words, what profit a man gains? What is the use of gaining all the fame in the world at the loss of my eternal soul? These are the words said by Steve Jobs towards the end of his life. He himself felt that I did not do anything for my soul. Even Christianity also talks about that. I get all the fame, I got everything, but at the loss of my eternal soul. What is the use of all the gain? Right? Is there any use of all the gains that we get? For example, we have got PhD, we have got everything, but you are living in a country where there is a war and you lost your home, you lost everything, you lost all your stuffs. So, does your education that you have, will it be of any worth in that situation when you lost all your possessions and everything? Will anybody is going to give you job with whatever education you had? You will not get it because everything is lost. So, in this material world, this Vedas doing all the sacrifices, even there are sacrifice, Jyotishtama sacrifice, by doing so, one can get elevated to heavenly planets. If you're doing proper rituals, it is guaranteed that you will go to heavenly planets. But what does Krishna says further about that? Shine punye matyaloke vishanti. Even when we go to heavenly planets, we can only stay there as long as we have the punya. Once our punya is over, then we have to come back to the earthly kingdom. We have seen with an example also vacation. We take some money, we can only stay as long as we have that much money. The moment our money is exhausted, nobody is going to keep us. We cannot survive there, then we have to come back to our own place. So, similarly, so this is also not a very permanent thing. But people always wanted more and more material comforts. Even within this world, why people like to go to European and American countries, because they think that the material comforts is very high there compared to the life in India. They don't hear so much of noise. and there is no this thing. They can go in the car, the roads are peaceful, the ambience is peaceful. But does that mean that nobody gets diseased in US? Is there no hospitals there? Nobody is getting old, nobody is dying. Everything is happening over there also, right? In fact, when Prabhupada went to America, because they have enjoyed so much of boga, they got frustrated with it and they became hippies, because they do not know, even after having the all material opulence, what am I going to do with it? So they all became like hippies. So this is not going to give us up this thing. So Krishna today is, in today's sloka, is further talking about that those people, what stops them, what are the impediments for us to follow the path of bhakti. Okay, we'll do the sloka. Is it visible, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 44. Bhogaishvarya prasannaktam
भोगैश्वर्य प्रसन्नाक्ताम्
तया pahrita chetasam
दयापग्रतचेतसाम्
vyavasayatmika buddhi
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि
samadau na vidiyate.
समादौ न विधीयते
भोगैश्वर्य प्रसन्नाक्ताम्
भोगैश्वर्य प्रसादाम्
तया पहृतचेतसाम्
दयापहृतचेतसाम्
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि
समादौ न विधीयते.
समादौ न विधीयते
भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानाम्
भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानाम्
तया पहृतचेतसाम्
दयापहृतचेतसाम्
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि
समादौ न विधीयते.
समादौ न विधीयते
Mamataji, can you read the word to word translation and translation?
Actually, I don't have the Gita with me right now, Mataji. I can read the shloka.
No, Mamataji, you have Gita, right?
Yeah, I have.
Please read the word to word translation.
Text 44. भोगैश्वर्य प्रसन्नाक्तम्
भोगैश्वर्य प्रसन्नाक्ताम्
दया प्रकृतिचेतसाम्
दया प्रत्यय
व्यवसायात्मिका
बुद्धि
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि
समाधौ न विधीयते
समाधौ न विधीयते.
To material enjoyment, Aishwarya, the opulence, Prashaktanam, for those who are attached, Taya, by such thing, Apahritya, Chetasam, bewildered in mind, Vyavasaya Atmika, fixed in determination, Buddhi, devotional service to the Lord, Samadhav, in the controlled mind, Na, never, Vidhiyate, does take place. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place.
Thank you, Mataji. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikas Swamiti Namini. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Desatarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here Krishna is talking about two things which are the impediments for our resolute determination. Krishna already spoke about Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. So he's again coming to the same word Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. He said a Vyavasayatmika Buddhi is focused. So apart from that, sometimes we are not able to be a Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. Why? Because of two problems. One is Boga. Boga means what? Enjoyment. And Aishwarya. Aishwarya means material opulence. So those people who are too attached to this material opulence and sense enjoyment, for them, it is very, very difficult for them to take up the devotional service in a very resolute manner. Resolute means what? As a like Ekeha Kurunandana, in a very focused way, they cannot take. Why? Because of these two reasons. One is Boga, another is Aishwarya.
Issue.
So, Samadhi. Samadhi means what? Fixing our mind in a particular thing. That is called a Samadhi. So, why they cannot attain this Samadhi stage? Because of Boga and Aishwarya. What does the Boga do? When we want to be enjoying of the senses and material opulences, do you think it will come so easily for us? Even if you want to gain material opulences, what do? We have to work very hard. If we are using our human form of life, which is very, very rarely obtained after many, many lifetimes, just for this Boga and Aishwarya, then how will we have time to fix our mind in Krishna consciousness? Will we have time to chant our rounds? Will we have time to read? Will we have time to do our devotional service? When we are too much attached to this Boga and Aishwarya? Like Prabhupada was, once he mentioned in his classes, you know, we are just having classes in a very simple way. Just Prabhupada is giving class and people are just sitting in the floor and they are just listening to the class. So there was no a very nice couch or anything for them to sit, but still they could get the message. So if you want to have a very nice couch and very nice things, for that what you should do, you need to work very hard. You cannot be sitting in a nice couch, or you cannot be driving a car like a BMW or anything by working in a normal situation. One has to work very hard. One's mind has to be very much attached to that particular thing so that you can get those opulences. So if you're utilizing your hard earned human form of life, which has come after many, many lifetimes, just for this Boga and Aishwarya, then it becomes very, very difficult for such a person to have a resolute mind in devotional service. But today there is a wrong conception that people say yogi bhi bano or bhogi bhi bano. How can you be both yogi and bhogi when they both are in the opposite? Can you ever bring the North Pole and South Pole together?
No.
Can ever come in the same place? No. So similarly, yogi and bhogi are like opposite poles. How can they come together? They go ill with each other, right? For example, when you are having fever, what does the fever means? Fever is a external symptom of our body that something is not going well. So what do you do when you have fever? You are supposed to take a particular diet and a particular medicine so that you come out of that particular stage. So already we as a living entity, we are coming to this world because of our feverish property of enjoying the senses. So already we have that propensity. That Boga propensity is there in every living entity, starting from ant till Indra or till Brahma. Everybody has that enjoying propensity in various degrees. And further we utilize our life in this Boga and Aishwarya, then won't it increase our feverish condition? And when we are in our feverish condition, then our body is not functioning properly. So similarly, when we are increasing our feverish condition, then how will we be able to be fixed in our spiritual path? An example, for example, a student, he got an admission in a very nice college, in a very prestigious college. So he got admission there, and he was looking for that particular college has so many canteens and so many outlets. So he was spending his entire semester to look which canteen is giving good food, is this giving good food, which is giving good comfort, like that. So what is the purpose of this particular boy to join the college? Is it for eating, or is it for the higher purpose of obtaining the graduation there?
Seems like for eating only.
For higher purpose, right? So if you just want to eat, you don't even have to go to college. You can just sit in your home. You can go to any places. You can look for various eateries and you can eat. You don't have to go to the college and get the admission there and look for the same propensity. How will I eat and how will I enjoy? Then will we be able to come out with the flying colors in his graduation? Will he be able to even complete his graduation? He will not be able to do that because you forgot your higher goals and we are in the lower propensity. We have forgotten our higher propensity. This boga is a lower propensity of us to enjoy our senses. Even an ant is enjoying the senses. Even a worm in the stool has enjoying its senses. So this sense enjoyment is available in all species of life. So one does not have to get a human form of life to enjoy the same senses, which is anyway available in all species of life. Dog is also procreating. Dog is also eating. Dog is also sleeping. Ahara nidra bhayamaitunacha samanyametam pashubinarana. This eating, sleeping, mating, defending is the same for humans and animals. Dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho dharmena hina pashubi naranam. It is the dharma that differentiates us from being an animal, and dharmena hina, without dharma we are a two-legged animal. But even for us to practice this dharma, for that we need to come out of this two propensity, namely boga and aishwarya, material and opulence and enjoyment. We need, one has to get out of this because this will go ill with our bhakti. Like, for example, we are sitting in the boat and we are rowing the boat also very nicely, but we are never going to the shore. What is that? How can that be possible? Under what conditions such thing will be possible? You're sitting in the boat, you're rowing the boat, everything you're doing, but you're not reaching the shore. What will be the problem?
Going against the wind, against the something.
No, the boat is anchored. The boat is attached. So you're doing the spiritual practice, chanting and performing. So this means we are rowing the boat. But on the other hand, you're anchored. You're too attached to your family, friends, nation, and everything. Then this attachment will not help us to advance in Krishna consciousness. We will be chanting, 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 but we will not be able to advance in our devotional service because of our excessive attachments. Right? Why we are excessively attached to our children? That is also a boga because it is my children. And the opulence, when somebody asks, we are so proudly say, my son is from such a prestigious institute and he is working in so and so company. So this is also a boga and aishwarya. So these things will not help us to further advance in devotional service. So let us go through Prabhupada's purport. What is samadhi? Samadhi means fixed mind. The Vedic dictionary, the Nikriti says, Samyak adhyate sammin atma tattva yatatmayam. When the mind is fixed for understanding the self, then that is said to be samadhi. So here when we talk about understanding the self, what does that mean? What does understanding the self means? Knowing that who am I, who is God, and what is the relationship I have with Krishna. That is called understanding the self, knowing about the soul and knowing about the super soul and knowing the relationship between them. So knowing that Jivera Swarupa Hoy, Krishnera Nityadas. We are all the eternal servants of Krishna, and that is a proper understanding that I do not belong to this material world. I am the part and parcel of Krishna. And my home is the spiritual world. I am supposed to live with Krishna, who is my eternal father. But somehow or the other, I got this enjoyment propensity and I fall down and I am wandering in the world. Like how a child who is lost keeps loitering in many streets, not knowing where to go. So similarly, we are all like lost children of Krishna who are wandering here and there to find the pleasure, Ananda. Every living entity in this world is looking for Ananda. But the only problem is we are looking in a wrong place. We do not know where to get this Ananda. Today we see even the students, they are not able to be fixed in their studies. It's very, very big trouble, especially the more the school is, the school has children from, upper middle class and rich families. Those schools are finding very difficult to, help the students study because they are so much, their mind is wandering. They have phone with them, right? Even 10 years back, when I was working for Hiranandani, the students used to submit one phone to the teachers and they used to have another phone in the class. Imagine, it was like 10 years back because they used to have two phones. So, one phone for submission, another phone to utilize in the class. So, they can't, why do they need phones in the class? If they just want to be the phone, they can be in the home now. They can keep browsing and doing. Why do you even have to come to the school? So this is what happening to today's students. So there was so much of allurement for sense enjoyment. The billboards, the Netflix series, this one, that one, apart from that, the gaming, apart from that, this, that, and with all the things, what is happening to the children? They are not able to be in a fixed mind. Vyavasayatmika is not happening because of too much of this thing for the enjoyment. So earlier days, we know that anything we need to obtain, we need to work very hard. Only hard work, if we do, we will get the result. So we are voluntarily accepting the sufferings, knowing that only if we suffer, we will get the result. But even that sacrifice is also, any renunciation is for a higher purpose. A student renounces to play and to have some enjoyment. For what? So that the student will study well and good marks, and that will be a higher purpose. So one renouncement, a sacrifice is for the higher purpose. Like today, we may appear like we are sacrificing. We are sacrificing going to movies. We are sacrificing eating some outside food. We are sacrificing having some chit chat with our friends and everything. But this sacrifice is for what? So that we go back home, back to Godhead, and we'll be eternally happy. And we come out of the cycle of repeated birth and death. So, any renunciation that we do, there is a higher purpose. But today, the world wants everything without renouncing anything. Because, as such, the economy has improved. We are in a better situation to provide for our children than our parents could provide for us. So what is happening? Because everything they are getting it now, so they are looking for enjoyment propensity right from their childhood. Even studies also, they feel if they don't feel they are enjoying, they don't want to study also. But did we really enjoy our studies? No, neither we enjoyed, but we know that we have to study. If we don't study, we know that there is no future for us, whether we liked it or whether we didn't like it. But our mind was fixed as a student, we have to somehow study and we have to come. But even that is missing in today's children because of this Boga and Aishwarya. So when samadhi is not possible, samadhi is never possible for persons interested in material sense enjoyment and bewildered by such temporary things, because this sense enjoyment is all temporary things. Only as long as you have the body, even if you within this body, when you become old, many people become diabetic and hypertension. So will you be able to eat anything and everything? You have so many dietary restrictions, you have so many things. Till 60 years you are working so hard to gain the wealth and everything, but after 60 years your senses are weakening, your eyes cannot see, you're developing cataract, your ears cannot hear properly. everything is, all our senses is getting diminished. But even those people who are for the sense enjoyment, who are accumulating lot of wealth and giving all their time for that, who did not give any time for bhakti or to understand their real self, even will they be able to enjoy anything when they become old? No. Their enjoyment gradually diminishes and completely wiped out. Mrityu sarva harasyaham. Krishna says in the 10th chapter that death wipes out everything. Everything the person has in one shot, everything is wiped out, right? Just the person's house goes, he has to leave everything in the world, whatever he has accumulated. He cannot even carry a safety pin with him. He cannot carry a small drop of anything with him. They say, no, we come with the empty hands and we go with the empty hands. So, what are we trying to do with all the things in this world, knowing that everything is temporary? Yes, we need to earn because we have to keep our body and soul together. We need to do bhakti. For that, we need certain comforts, but only to keep our body and soul together. That's why Prabhupada gave us the formula of simple living and high thinking. If we are utilizing our life in comfortable living, if we are looking for more and more comforts in the life, then we will not be able to give any time for bhakti. When we are trying to do book distribution, we'll see many people. The very common objection they give is, I don't have time. Why you don't have time? Two reasons. Either the time you are having, you are utilizing it for your sense enjoyment. You are watching some Netflix or another thing. Or you are utilizing the time only for gaining your wealth, not utilizing it for Krishna consciousness, not even trying to understand why am I, who am I, why am I suffering in this world, why everything is temporary here. So that intelligence is also not present in the people because of Boga and Aishwarya. Too much of Boga. So we can see today, any signal we see the billboards of all the properties, right? Many big properties with such and such amenities. So seeing that people who are already having a house, they must have got a house take 10 years back. 10 years back, the amenities would have been little lesser than what you get today because of advanced technology and everything. And seeing that, what do the people think? I need to buy this house now. So you try to sell off this house and you have to put some more money and you have to earn more harder so that you can get this other house. But are you going to live in that house permanently? But we don't have an understanding that there is a spiritual home for us. By doing Krishna consciousness, by chanting and by hearing, we can go to that place. And it is said that Krishna's one room of Krishna, the opulence of Krishna's room, is more than the GDP of the entire world. Can we understand how opulent is Krishna's planet? Chintamani, it's full of touchstones and it's full of, opulences in Krishna's abode. But because of lack of knowledge, like a frog in a well, we think this world is all in all, and the hardly given human form of life we are misusing. So they are more or less condemned by the process of material energy. I think it is understood, Mataji, this particular thing. 2 points, very, very important in our devotional life. And Srimad Bhagavatam also, in the Kunti prayers, there is a verse which talks about how this can be an impediment in our path to Krishna. Janmaishwarya Srita Sribir Edamana Madapuman Naivar Hatyati Datum Vai Tvam Akinchana Gocharam. My Lord, your Lordship can easily be appreciated, but only by those who are materially exhausted. So, why you can only approach God when you are materially exhausted? Because one who is in path of material progress, trying to improve himself with what do people wanted? We want respectable parentage. We want to be born in a very high parentage. People are happy if you are getting born in Ambani's family. That's a high parentage. Aishwarya's daughter is a celebrity right from the day she is born. That is a high parentage, right? granddaughter of Amitabh Bachchan and daughter of Aishwarya Rai, right?
Aishwarya.
So wherever she is coming, she is already in the limelight, right? Great opulence, high education, and bodily beauty. These are the things which people are longing for. Four things, right? High parentage, opulence, high education, and bodily beauty cannot approach you with a sincere feeling. Why we cannot approach when we have all these things? We think we are somebody. We become proud of ourselves. So will we be able to call out Krishna's name very purely?
You
When we
can't.
chant Hare Krishna, will we be able to chant Krishna in a helpless situation? We may chant. Okay, this is also good. Maybe chanting can improve my intelligence. Chanting can increase my concentration. We may look for some benefits out of chanting, but we will not be able to call out Krishna's pure name. We will be calling Krishna with helpless mode. When Gajendra, when he knew that he was fighting with crocodile for thousands of years, and when he knew that gradually his strength is diminished and he cannot protect himself, at that exhausted stage, what did Gajendra do? He found a lotus flower in the pond, and because he was a king Indradyumna who performed devotional service in his previous life, he remembered. That's what the Neha Bikramana Asosti, Pratyavayona Vidyate, Swalpamapyasya Dharmasya Trayato Mahatopayat. Because of that, he remembered and he offered the prayers, and Krishna immediately came. And Krishna came, it is said in the Shastras that he came so fast that he thought that Garuda will be slow. So he put Garuda on his shoulders. Instead of he being on top of Garuda, he put Garuda on him because
Anish.
he did not want to waste even a single second moment, because my devotee is calling. My devotee is calling me in such a helpless condition. So Krishna was immediately present there and he delivered the elephant, Gajendra. That's why it's called Gajendra Moksha. Even though Gajendra, the king Indradyumna, was in the body of the elephant, but because of the devotional service he performed, he could go back home, back to Godhead. So, if we are attached to all these things about the parentage, opulence, high education, and bodily features, then it is not possible for us to call out the pure names of Krishna. Unless one is materially exhausted, one you are thinking either you have to renounce, or if your mind is always thinking, how can I keep increasing the comforts in the life? How can I be more happy? How can I increase my wealth? Like that, if our mind is always thinking in that situation, we will not be able to give ourselves completely to Krishna. This will become an impediment with sincere feeling. And who is telling this? Kunti Maharani is the mother of Pandavas, and she got the entire kingdom. Her son is the emperor. In spite of that, she is saying that these all will become an obstacle in our path of devotion. Yes, we need to earn, we need to do only to keep our body and soul together and to give the minimum comforts. Yes, when we grow old, we need some balance to take care of our health and to take care, but not anything beyond that. Okay. And so now what is the solution for that? As we said, the living entity is born because of the boga, because of our propensity to enjoy. So this enjoying propensity is there. So as long as this enjoying propensity is there, we will not be able to put our mind in Krishna. Therefore, in Bhagavatam, there is another verse which says that Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayat Yashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chasayat Ahaitukam. By rendering devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, one immediately acquires costless knowledge and detachment from the world. So, this is another way. By chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and by hearing about Krishna, by hearing Krishna Katha like Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, and by increasing our intensity on chanting and hearing, then what will happen? Krishna is assuring one immediately, not very long. Immediate means what? Right now. Costless knowledge. That knowledge we can get immediately, and detachment from the world. So it is not very easy for ourselves to get detached from the material world. But by rendering devotional service, especially in this age of Kali, what is the best spiritual practice? The best spiritual practice is chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. By chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said in Sishtashtakam, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, Bhavamaha Davagni Nirvapanam. It removes all the contamination in our heart. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Cleanse your mirror of the heart, and Bhavamaha Davagni Nirvapanam. It can take us from this Bhavasagar. So by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one should try gradually, at least 1 round, 2 rounds, 3 rounds, and try to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and render devotional service to Krishna by chanting. Namely, chanting and hearing is a very, very powerful process, because the more we hear, the more our mind will be fixed in Krishna. We know the futility of the world and we can surrender to Krishna. And by remembering Krishna, by doing these three processes, what we can do, automatically the detachment from the material world, because rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. When you get higher taste, what will happen to your lower taste? It will automatically go away. Right? See, these Western people, they are all used to eat meat. That is their staple food. But Prabhupada gave them prasadam. It's a higher taste. And when they started taking prasadam, then their propensity to eat meat automatically went away. They did not take special endeavors to give up. Today, we see there are so many rehab centers to give up alcohol, to give up smoking. And people who go there and people who come out of the rehab center, do you know what is the percentage of the success rate? People who get themselves into rehab center, any guesses?
But it is less.
Statistics says 5%, which means 95% of the people, they habit relapse. They are not getting benefited even taking up the rehab thing. But those people who are continuously hearing about Krishna and who are chanting Krishna's name and who are eating Krishna Prasadam, even if a person continuously every Sunday for 3 months, if he is continuously going to the temple, taking Prasadam, hearing about Krishna and chanting, all these bad habits will get vanished. I have seen many people within ISKCON who had many bad habits, and by taking up this process of devotional service, today they are all very, very pure. They are so pure to the extent that they don't even take coffee or tea or a garlic, onion, and they only take Krishna Prasadam, because you got the higher taste. When you're attaching yourself with Krishna, then the detachment will automatically come. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchate. When you are serving Rishikesha, the master of senses, what happens? Sarva Upadi Vinirmuktam. We come out of all our designations. Every designation we call ourselves. If somebody asks us, who are we? If I say, I am such and such person. I belong to such and such place. I belong to such and such community. I belong to such and such nation. These are all our designations. Are they our real self? No. So, Tat Paratvena Nirmalam, and we get purified. So, by serving the senses of Krishna, automatically our senses gets purified. So, the secret formula to enjoy our senses is, instead of trying to enjoy it directly, try to serve Krishna's senses. Then our senses will be automatically purified. Then that thing of Bhoga and Aishwarya will not trouble us. Otherwise, if we are artificially trying to detach ourselves, then it may not be very easy for us to detach ourselves from the Bhoga and Aishwarya. But by rendering devotional service to Krishna, one can easily come out of this. So, this is a positive way, not a negative way. Giving up something is very difficult, but attaching yourself with something, so that detachment will easily happen. Even for a child, suppose we have to give the medicine to the child, the child will not open the mouth. So what does the parent do? They keep some sugar candy or something, and they try to put the medicine for the child, and they say that I will give you the sugar candy so that that medicine will go. So unless this child is getting that sugar candy, the child will not accept the medicine. So you're attaching the child to something so that the child will get detached to the taste and will accept. So similarly, without we becoming attached to Krishna, the detachment from the material world is not going to be easy, because the desire is the very nature of the soul. One can, if we become desireless, then we become stones. We can't be stones. We have desire. So, but that desire is should be to serve Krishna. So by doing that, then automatically the Bhoga and Aishwarya propensity will come out. That's why we saw in Sishtashtakam, Mahaprabhu is saying, Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam vaya. I don't want wealth, na dhanam, na janam. I don't want followers. I don't want sundari. I don't want beautiful wife. Bhavatat bhakti rahaituki, mama janmani janmanishware. He's telling, life after life, let me serve you. That's what a devotee is aspiring. Not for wealth, not for money, or not for Aishwarya, not for beauty, not for education or anything. Only he aspires for Krishna, to serve Krishna life after life. So this is a positive way in which we can come out of the propensity of Bhoga and Aishwarya by rendering devotional service to Krishna. And that is possible when we come in the association of the devotees. When we hear about Krishna, even though you may not have a devotee association at your place, but when you're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, when you're reading Prabhupada's books, you're directly associating with the pure devotee of Krishna. Right? So, always try to remain in association of the devotees. It may not be like once a week we are meeting in Zoom, but the other days we can read Prabhupada's book, we can hear to the classes. By doing so, we will remain in the association of Krishna and his devotees. By doing so, our mind will be fixed. Otherwise, the more we are associating with with the material people, then our mind will also get contaminated. So always carry at least one small book with you, so that if you have some time, you can always read. Don't waste our time. This human body is obtained very, very rarely. Out of 84 lakh species of life, we got this rarely obtained human form of life so that we can utilize it to go back home, back to Godhead. Utility. Like you got a BMW car. It has a higher utility of driving in a good road. Imagine you're using that car to till the field in the for agriculture. What will happen to this car?
It get destroyed.
It will get destroyed. But is that the utility of a BMW car? No. When you have BMW car, it has to be utilized for driving in a nice roads, not for agriculture, for towing. So similarly, this human form of life is given for us to go back home, back to Godhead, to understand our real existence, to know who we are, to know who we are, who is Krishna, and our relationship between us and Krishna, and go back home, back to Godhead. And let us not utilize this human form of life in lower propensity of Bhoga and Aishwarya.
Ishwarya.
Okay. So, discussion of the purport. We saw there are two obstacles for resolute determination. What are the two obstacles? We saw Bhoga and Aishwarya.
Aishwarya.
These becomes our two obstacles. They are our obstacles because we are in the path of bhakti. And if you are not able to advance in the path of bhakti, what is the obstacles? Bhoga and Aishwarya.
Aishwarya.
So once we are taking up the devotional path, we should come out of this Bhoga propensity. And what is the literal meaning of samadhi means? Fixing ourselves. Yeah. And what is
Fixing the
definition
mind.
of samadhi? And Prabhupada has given the definition of samadhi is when the mind is fixed in understanding the self. That is called samadhi. Knowing who am I, who is God, and what is the relationship between us. That's what we saw in the second chapter also. It is first knowledge is it's to know that I am not the body, I am the soul. That's a good knowledge. And further knowing that there is not one Atma, there are two Atma, Atma and Paramatma.
Paramatma.
Knowing that there is soul and super soul, and what is the relationship between us, that is the little bit higher knowledge. And further higher knowledge is knowing that the relationship between me and Krishna to render the devotional service. That becomes further higher. So it starts with the knowledge that I am not the body, I am the soul. And then knowing the difference between the soul and the super soul. And thirdly, understanding the knowledge, we are rendering Krishna consciousness. That's how we see how Krishna gradually brought Arjuna to this Nishkama Karma. He did not bring him at one go. He spoke about Sakama Karma, he spoke about Karma Kanda, and gradually Krishna brought Arjuna to the Buddhi Yoga, right? So, because people cannot immediately come out, because the propensity, you just say the person it is not good, they cannot give. But give them prasadam, give them a book, ask them to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. By doing so, we get slowly purified and we gradually become elevated. So, for whom the samadhi is never possible, we saw. For those people who are too much attached to the material opulence and sense enjoyment, for them, this samadhi or fixing our mind on Krishna will never be possible. So, one has to come out of the Bhoga and Aishwarya, right? Although this sloka is a small sloka and everything, but when I read this sloka, I really like this sloka. Because I was also thinking, like many people are coming to this path of devotion and we are not advancing further, right? Somewhere we feel, we are stuck. And the main reason is because of Bhoga and
Aishwarya.
so one should come out of this. I hope today's class was useful to all of you.
Yes, Mataji.
It helped you to understand about how to advance in Krishna consciousness.
Yes, Mataji.
Very important,
Okay.
Mataji.
So let us utilize this rarely obtained human form of life to please whose senses?
Krishna's
Krishna's senses, not our own senses. Too, because we tried so many lifetimes to enjoy our senses. Prabhupada told his disciples, like, this one lifetime, try to satisfy Krishna's senses. Because if you still want to enjoy your senses, there'll be many more opportunities given to you. But at least one lifetime, give it to Krishna. We tried so hard to enjoy our senses. Many lifetime we have been trying to do the same thing which we have been keep on doing. But nobody, when you read Srimad Bhagavatam, you will see that none of the person achieved success by trying to enjoy the material opulence. You will see many pastimes. King Yayati was trying to satisfy his senses for thousands of years. He enjoyed, but still he did not get satisfaction. That is why when we are reading Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, practically we see that those people who try to enjoy their senses, they never attain satisfaction. We practically, through so many pastimes, we understand that. Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna. We'll do the Narsimha prayers.
Yes, Mataji.
Namaste Narasimhaya Praladaladaine Hiranyakashi Purvashaka Shilatankanakalaye Ito Narsimha Parato
Narasimha.
Yato
Yato
Yamito Narsimha Bhage Narsimha Hridaye Narsimha Narasimha Madim Sharanam Prapade Tava Kara Kamala Varenaka Adbhuta Shringa Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanunga Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Narsimhadev 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 Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev
Gurudev,
जय
Jaya
जय
Gurudev.
भक्ति विनाशक नरसिंह भगवान की जय, भक्ति शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. So yesterday I had an opportunity to take darshan of Guru in ISKCON. His name is His Holiness Jayaprataka Swami Maharaj. He has more than 50,000 disciples all over the world. Prabhupada especially gave him an instruction to initiate as many devotees as possible. He has in fact given him the name. So he came into Krishna consciousness only when he was 16 years old. He was a very intelligent, he was a honor student and belonged to a very, very opulent family, American rich family. And by when he came in touch with Srila Prabhupada, he got so much attached to the teachings of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and he left everything. And Maharaj has been relentlessly working, and in 21 years, Prabhupada gave him sannyasa. Just in 21 years. And Maharaj, he has undergone 20 surgeries. He has undergone so many transplants. And right now, also, he is undergoing dialysis and he is also suffering from skin cancer. So, his bodily wise is having so many complications that, in a medical terms, that if you see that such a person is remaining alive, it is impossible. In spite of that, Maharaj is traveling and very mercifully, he gave a class in Juhu ISKCON yesterday. And I was there yesterday. He was giving a class in the evening. And it was so nice to hear from Maharaj. He was saying that each and every one of us should read all the books of Srila Prabhupada. He asked how many people have read all the books of Srila Prabhupada. Hardly people raised the hand. So Maharaj said, next time when I come, I want to see more hands. I have literally seen Prabhupada early morning, 2 o'clock. He sits and he translates and he gives commentary to these books. Because he has seen Prabhupada, he has been in association with Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, he requested all of us to read all Srila Prabhupada book and also to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books to everyone, each one of us. Take some sankalp. This is a book marathon month. I will distribute like 100 books or 10 books or 5 books, or I will at least distribute one book. Take it as a responsibility to give Krishna to others. Okay, so it was very nice hearing from Maharaj. And one of them also asked a question, how do we know that if we are chanting offenselessly? So Maharaj said that if you are able to feel the ecstasy by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, that means you are chanting offenselessly. But if you're not having a taste, you're chanting and you do not have the prema, you're not getting, that means you're chanting because of offense. So by chanting offenselessly, one can develop Krishna prem. Said Krishna prem is easily available in the form of Mahaprabhu. Krishna came as a Bhakta avatar and distributing it freely like a sale. Just take it, take it. In the streets, it is given now, right? A treasure is something which is always kept like in a bank or in a house in a sacred place. And that treasure, Mahaprabhu, Krishna in the form of Mahaprabhu is giving the key and distributing it to everyone. Just take Krishna Prem. And Maharaj said, even now he's visiting hospitals many times in a week because of his dialysis and so many health issues. So wherever he goes to the doctors and to nurses, he gives that Mahamantra card. There is a Hare Krishna Mahamantra card and he asks them to chant at least 108 times. And then he sometimes gives a clicker also, the counter that he can do. So imagine the Vaishnava, whatever condition they are, everywhere they go, they are trying to uplift the fallen souls because he's a paradukka dukhi. Imagine, like I know once I was hospitalized, and that hospital was because of malaria and dengue. All the rooms were filled that I was put in the ICU ward for like half a day or so. And one lady, she was having some health complication, and all the bad words are only coming out of her mouth. She was scolding everyone, and she's eating, she's vomiting. Still, she is not giving up. Again, she's eating. Again, she was vomiting. So when we know people are in that condition, their mind doesn't work properly, their thing doesn't. Even I told her, आप ऐसा नाम करने से ना सबको, you don't scold anyone. आप राम का नाम ले लो, कृष्ण का नाम ले लो. At least I thought that I should say her. Whether she will do or not, I do not know. I felt so disgusted, Mataji, looking at, how people are, whereas I was in the ICU ward and I was chanting. I carried my books, and that time when I know that I'm going for admission because my platelet count was very low, that I could not be helped without admission, and my husband was also traveling. So my some of my friends came and stayed with the children, and I have to go alone. First thing, what did I pack? I packed Bhagavad Gita. I packed Srimad Bhagavatam, and that time I was reading Prabhupada's Leelamrit, his biography. These three books I packed, and then I packed all my clothes. Even my son was asking, Mama, are you going to hospital or are you going to temple? He said. I said, see, these books will be my companion. If I leave the dress, you will bring it. Anything else. But if I leave the book, I know nobody will bring it for me. And Mataji, that 3-4 days when I was staying, even though I was having drips and everything, I utilized my time so much in reading and chanting. Even those doctors and the nurses, when they come, they felt, I'm always chanting and doing. They also could do. And within 3 days, my platelet counts good well, and I could get discharged also because of, the power of chanting and everything. And the last day was Ekadashi. In spite of that, the devotee friends, they got me Ekadashi Prasadam. So, in spite of being in the hospital, Mataji, I did not miss my Ekadashi. So, you know that
Channelized,
how
kept
Krishna
that
is
time,
here.
Mataji.
What, Mataji?
How nicely you have channelized that time also, I'm saying. It's because
Yeah,
body
yeah,
is not the same, but
yeah.
still, but that is practice, Mataji.
Yes, yes. That is what I am telling. That sir, savai pumsam parodharmo yato bhaktir adokshaje ahe tukya apratihata. Devotional service should be rendered uninterrupted and unmotivated. That is the highest love. Savai pumsam parodharmo. Rendering service to adokshaja. That is the highest dharma. We may say my dharma as a Sri dharma, this dharma, that is all another dharma. But the highest dharma is rendering devotional service to the Supreme Lord. And see, I'm not telling to boast myself or to glorify. The only thing is just to know how we can fix our mind under all conditions. Even now, 3 days back, I had to be in the sports day of my daughter. It's a 4 hours thing. Once you go until the sports day is over, there are security. They will not even let you get out of the gate. You have to stay there. And my daughter also performed in many things. In fact, by Krishna's mercy, she got the best sports person award for the primary and best athlete, and she got 2 gold and 1 silver. So I was only seeing her one whenever she was doing her event. I got my Bhagavatam book with me, Mataji. I read one full chapter. So I did not waste my time, even being in that situation. I know I cannot chant because the noise and everything is too much, but I could read. So there are many ways wherever we are there at any situation, we can utilize our time in Krishna consciousness. Even when I go in the flight, I carry one small book. I always carry the small size Bhagavad Gita with me. So I read the Bhagavad Gita, and once one of the passenger who was next to me, he was asking what it is that whatever book I had, I gifted him and I came. I thought I can get another book. If he is not getting now, he may never get it. He may not remember that I should get my copy of Bhagavad Gita. So I told him he was also living in Ukraine somewhere. I don't know, some places he was living. So I told him, keep this copy for you and you read it. And he happily took the Bhagavad Gita with him. Like that, Mataji, when we carry something, somebody will be really interested. We can give 1 or 2 books. You don't have to externally preach. Just by seeing you, somebody can ask you. At least by that, you can give 1 or 2 books, Mataji. If you are feeling, okay, how should I preach? What will I think? It will eventually come. For that, we just have to come out of our personal thing. We just pray to Krishna and you. But seeing you chanting and hearing people will be attracted. Yesterday, I got some books, but I came by cab. So I had to load those books in my car. So I thought, by 8 o'clock, another watchman will shift. So before that person goes, I want to load those books in my car. So I brought the car and I loaded. And another security saw me. आज अच्छा अच्छा हुआ सुबह सुबह दर्शन हो गया भगवान का. So I'm the devotee only. But the thing is, when they see us with chanting and when they see the tilak, they are remembering Krishna. That is the thing. Because just by seeing you, somebody should remember Krishna. That is the perfection of Krishna consciousness. Because you're making somebody. That's why I go in the morning walk and I chant. Not everybody can chant, not everybody can do. But at least seeing me, everybody says Hare Krishna. And some people may not say Hare Krishna to me, but seeing me, they may think that Tilak, okay, they may remember Krishna for one moment in their day, for the 24/7. Otherwise, they are not going to remember Krishna at all. Is it no, Mataji? So, some way or the other, we should develop our own Krishna consciousness, we should advance, and we should also help others to take up this Krishna consciousness, because this is the highest welfare activity by which the person comes out of the cycle of repeated birth and death. This LIC says na Jeevan ke saath bhi, Jeevan ke baad bhi. That works only in Krishna consciousness. LIC may you can't carry your 1 crore policy with you. Yes, no, Mataji. Varsha Mataji, she is there. She is an LIC agent. So one of the Mataji. You cannot really carry anything with you. But this one, devotion, we can carry with us. It will help us in this very lifetime, and it will also help us to go back home, back to Godhead. So let us all utilize this rarely obtained human form of life in Krishna consciousness and fix our mind in Krishna then and come out of this Boga and Aishwarya. Let us come out of these obstacles in our devotional life. Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for all of your time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Mataji.
Hare Krishna.